This daf in Yerushalmi Yoma the article Oz v'Har edition daf lam base amav. The fifth line down, last word of the line, Rabbi Yisrael Bun, which in the Vilna is on daf Chav Dalet on the base, the sixth line up from the bottom. And we had the Shita yesterday, Rabbi Yisrael Chanina, who holds that the Torah has to be made by Kodesh, has to be made in the Kli Kodesh, Machdeshes, which is Kodesh, has to be made in Azora. And so we have a question now, the same question we asked yesterday, basically, prior to Rabbi Yisrael Chanina. The Rabbi Yisrael Bun, Rabbi Chuna Kam Rabbi Yosi, Davashkish Kodesh B'Kli Nifta. If it became Kodesh in a Kli, how can it be redeemed then when you give it to the Umnim of Beis Abtinas in their as payment, and then they reconsecrate it from the new Chumas Alishka? How can that be done? How can we redeem it? As the Korban says, how can we do that? So the Gemara says, they said, we're not going to Shmuel. We just said yesterday that Shmuel is the one who says that, and the line just before we started today, the Rabbi Yitzchak is going to Shmuel. The Rabbi Shmuel, but Machdeshes also saw Klisharis, Kaddish, the mortar and pestle were Klisharis. So that's Shmuel, right? Okay, fine. So no problem. Shmuel says that the Shmuel Amar Kalhu Moisar. There is a leniency by Moisar. Anything which is left over, such in this case the Torah is at the end of the year, it is there's a leniency. Dispalgun, and we have a machlekes. Who truths meeting? The truth meeting left over. So let's see a korban. Shlochim mot tzibur that you bought from the money of the community. Mitzuma salishka. The nam be'erchin, it says erchin in pochsin, me'shisha tleim b'vukarim b'lishkas tleim. We pair 6 sheep or goats ahead of time in the lishka for the next few tamidim. Shmagir rosh chodesh nisan lo'em rakim shu korban tzibur me'osar chuma shesh taka. But if you have 6 prepared for eventualities, it's rosh chodesh nisan. You don't use from the last year's budget. Shem chodesh b'chodsho chadesh v'beikor b'nos b'chuma chadash. That being new korbanos from the chuma chadash. So every year there are arba tloim lishkas tloim. There are 4 tloim in lishkas tloim from most of Shemishara from last year's budget. Final shu siru, and what does it mean they're left over? Shelo etzuchulekim mashana shavi. You didn't need to sacrifice them in the prior year. So what do you do with them? So Shmuel Amar, Shmuel said, Niftim kit mimim. They are redeemed like tmimim. And the Gourmet says in this, Lach Shiran B'Shana Zu, to make the kosher in the new year. B'Chanasam Amos Chulin. You redeem them on Chulin money. Both Amos Yochel and Amos are Truma HaYushana. That money goes to the whatever excess funds we have from the old Truma, because it's from last year. Which you make metal plates, in order to panel the Kodesh Kodashim with gold, but now they go out l'chulim. And you buy the sheep, the goats, the young animals back from the new Truma. And we're back of them in this year. Even though an animal which is kachim, which belongs to an individual, cannot be redeemed without a mum, like we hold miveim kol behema tme'ah, and amar bali mum shifta kosim b'daber. Tme'ah is lav dafka that pasuk. It's about mum, which gets redeemed. Ilu shel tzibur niftin. Elu, I should say. These are the tzibur are niftin. Why? Because we have this unique concept. The lay based in masna lehen. Lay based in masna means anything which we don't need. We have leniency with that item, and we can redeem it. And we don't make them chulin. We can't redeem them for the money of the new budget. Because you can't redeem hektish on hektish. Therefore, there is as a result of the lay based in masna, it works. Okay, the Ridbaz throws in a little bit of a more explanation, says that the niftim tmimi means perish kedmim shiktu shulabera kabayis niftim. So just like tmim, which are consecrated bera kabayis, can be redeemed. Because that's sacrifice, they're made better kabayis in order for hektish to make money off of them. Hachanami niftin tamim, unless the sub would be a carbon, in which case that would be what's kachim mizbeach. But in any event, hachanami niftin tamim mishum leibe based in masna leib. They're necessary. I mean, love if not, yelid made. Then you actually redeem it. He said, "Bavli misar shvus," etc. Okay, so that is Shmuel's opinion, and that works with Rabbi Yisachina. That's why you can redeem the Ketores. That Rabbi Yochanan argues. Rabbi Yochanan, he says, no. You can't redeem any, at least medium, the 4 left over at the end of the year, unless they get a mum. They have to Psulim Mukdashim, as the Carbonata says. But you actually stop, they have to graze until they get a mum. You remain in the Dava, and then their value can go to the Dava. The Kedusha Saguf Shebehen, because otherwise, where's the Kedusha Saguf go? They can't be redeemed without a mum. Right? So the Skor Rabbi Yochanan, he wouldn't be allowed to redeem the Ketores, but he could hold like Rabbi Shimon Levi holds that you can be Mefatim Ketores in Chol, so therefore it's not a problem. Okay, that's says more Husiru Seirin. So what about if the Seirim are left? So the serum of the tzibur, right? There's several chasirei chatos which were brought by the tzibur, such as Rosh Chodesh, as Korbanei says, Chodesh Tzibur Mishum Yishonah Gontzeh Rosh Chodesh Adar She'av Neva Nitza B'Nisan. You had the story for Rosh Chodesh Adar, which got lost, and therefore you could sacrifice it. And now Nisan comes along and need from the new budget, and Bnei Moshe puts in also sorry Yom Kippur, and I put a Zorah. All these tzibur. So I'll die to the Shmuel. According to Shmuel, im oilo neftes, if an oilo kebedim, which is the medium, which are olos, which are higher kedusha, lo koshkein chatos. Certainly the chatos is sort of serum or chatos. They certainly redeem. They're lesser kedusha. I'll die to Rabbi Yochanan. But Rabbi Yochanan who says that the olos can't be redeemed. Rabbi Zira Amar Yiru. Rabbi Zira says they too can't be redeemed, and you have to graze them to the moon. Amar B'Shua Barav Yitzchak, B'Shua said, "Bekaitzim boaz havizech, use it to adorn the mizbech. Bekaitzim mizbech is to adorn the mizbech are olos. They're optional korbanos, not chatos. So that's why I asked the kasha. Yesh chatos kei ba'olah. How can the chatos get changed in oila? Right. So we have a variation on the theme of lay based in masna here. Amar Rabbi Yisrael said, "Shania hi she'en korbanos tzibur nikvoin ela b'shchita." The final disposition of a korban tzibur is not determined until the shchita. So therefore, if you didn't need the same lechatos, you can taka make them kaitzizech and go to ola, okay? Because they're not. It ain't over till it's over, until it's actually the shchita takes place. So that's not quite the same thing as lay based in masna. It's saying that they're not completely determined till shchita, and that's the next statement, is much more of a traditional lay based in master type statement. Tanai based in who? Almost words. In other words, they taka were chatos, and it's nikba before shchita, but they're still lay based in masna that mosoros shekor olos. So if we have extra at the end of the year, then they can be brought as olos. I see Rabbi Chaim does use the lashon even by this language of enik vayel b'shchita that. I don't think that's the same thing. I'm sure if we got into Lumdus, we can find distinctions that's B'shchita is like, it's a kind of breira. It's not really T'nai based. In other words, we say, of course it's not real breira, because there's no breira by the right, so we're saying that it's not the Karbanos and Beis HaMikdash, they're given, they were set aside with the assumption that they're designated, but they're not fully designated until the Shchita. But T'nai Basin is much more, Lay Basin Masna, T'nai Basin is much more that, even though it was designated, in the end we can change it, because T'nai Basin says, well, ultimately everything is considered to be changeable when necessary. Again, it's interesting, long is your question, how to make these definitions, but I think there's a distinction. I'll check the article. I don't think it says anything about it. The way the article is, if it's not a different lumnus, it's a difference between whether it's all korbanos, she'en korbanos tzibur nikva el b'shchita, all korbanos tzibur, or it's just mosoros. Both of them are based in masna. both sides. Normally, it's not quite the same. Okay. Uh, the next one, Mole Kumsa. So the idea of a klimetz. Our Mishnah is really clear about Melo Chafnaim. It's a parallel story to Melo Komtzo, right? To a kometz where you take from any mincha. So Melo Komtzo, Yachol Malei Kometz Mevuratz. There's a kometz is a mevuratz, meaning it's coming out on all sides from your fingers, between the fingers and maybe a little bit on the bottom. Mevuratz means super full. Yachol Malei Komtzo means mevuratz. Tamlar Bik Komtzo. It says no Bik Komtzo. And so I'll show him. Let's see here. And so the first pasuk is in Vayikra Beis, Revealed Bnei Aaron according to the Kamatz Misham Melo Kumtzo, Misotam Misham Nalkom, so etc. The second pasuk is Vayiri Menu Bik. There's a Vayikra Vav Ches. Vayiri Menu Bik Kumtzo. So when it says Melo Kumtzo, it says Bik Kumtzo. So Iba Kumtzo, fine. So Yochel Yikmos Baroshe Etzbos up. Maybe you just use your fingertips, like very small amount. So the Tamlomar Melokumso, or full komets. Haketza Chovetz Pasiodo. You bend down the palm of your hand, and put it in to the pan or into the pot where you have the flour or the dough, depending what the komitzi you're doing. So the milcha machvas, the marcheshes, these are done after they were baked, and they're much harder to do because it's hard already, because it's baked, it's cooked or baked. So that this is the machvas is marcheshes are fried. That's what I'm looking for. They're baked and then they're fried. As the so let's see the okay. So chayfa shlosh both of pasiodo. You take your three fingers, put them on your palm. My machmas a chesed shumini tigun. These are types of fried. They're baked first. Chayza post this on, and then you pound them again, and then you make them. You fry them. The kasha kmitzasan. They're very hard to be garments. That they should not be overflowing your hand. Which is done by flour, where it falls on its own. So in this case, and this is why they say, because you have to be mochik with your finger, the thumb and the pinky, to make sure not to have anything coming out of this klimetz. Okay, so the moibetz bo milamalo lamaton, and you do with your fingers move on the top and the bottom. Tamrat Amar Melokumtzo Bikumtzo. So it's very strange Gemara. Try and explain it in a minute. Tamar Melokumtzo Bikumtzo. Vachamar Melokumtzo. What does it mean? So basically, everybody, the creator, the Chaim, the Shatter, so they all changed the girsa. So that is the way to read is like this. Tamar Amar, we learned just now by Koimetz, Melokumtzo, Bikumtzo, because we make this kind of show. We have Shneksu Machishim Zezeh, Melokumtzo, Bikumtzo. So how do we kind of resolve that? So we say it's not Mevuratz, not Rosh Hashanah, but Pasiodo, and then you do the Mechika. Okay. V'hachat Amar, by Payos to say Melochafnav. So how do we understand here, right? The Sharp Pnei Moshe doesn't change the girsa, but he learns the same way. There's no b'chafnav, just melochavnav. But can name of the habi kama the darashta. Let it be like we want to expound melokum so the mincha, right? So therefore maybe by, and he goes on, but without reading the rest of it, maybe you should here should be mavurats, right? By the Chafnaim, because it doesn't say anything about bichofnav. I'm gonna change the gears like the Sharati. So change it. Maybe the does Chaim change it? I don't know. He doesn't really change it, but it's easier if he changes it. I guess he learns it without changing it. Yeah, but with changes it works easier. Rabbi Yaakov Barach, Rabbi Simon Shem said Malal Kaimetz by Bekaimetz. Here it says Choser. Sharter so changes it to Mevuratz. Mevuratz is puzzle, right? Hacha here too. It says Kaimetz or Choser. Sharter so changes it to Chafnaim Mevuratzim, right? You can do a Choser too, but it's. Since here it says Melo Chafnaim, so it's mashma that it should be Mevuratz. So I like to change the Girs to Shadar Yisrael, right? Because it makes more sense. Because why would you think it'd be Chaser? It doesn't say Bikum So, which would be indicate Chaser. It says Melokum So. So again, Rabbi, he's saying Malan Klemetz Mevuratz, not Chaser. Pasul Hacha here too. Chafnaim Mevuratzim. Pasul. It can't be heaping over the side. It's got to be flush, just like the Kaimetz is flush. So you have to smooth off on top. Okay. Now, Gemara asks, Chavnai Mashi is a Klisha is the Kaddish. Do we say that the Chavnaim, the status of a Klisha is, and it is Mekadesh, his Chavnaim are Mekadesh, the Ktoris, when he puts it into his Chavnaim? And there's another question. Can somebody else, other than another Kohen, do the Chafnaim and put into the Chafnaim? The Kohen goes. The Kohen goes have to scoop it up himself, or can somebody else put into his Chafnaim? Also, what it can make a midah, which is the same midah as your Chafnaim, and use that to measure the Ktoris. B'chol Chafnaim Misharin. Do we go by everybody's Chafnaim? In other words, we make a generic measure, which I guess would be the average of everybody's Chafnaim, regardless of the size of their hands. Oh, it is only, you can't use the Chofin of this, you go still by the Chofin Chafnaim of this Kohen Gadol specifically. Yerushalmi Yoma asks, Chafanu Mace. So somebody who was Chafan. Kohen goes Chofan, and he died. Acher, the Kohen Gadol replaces him. Maush goes the Chofan, can he use the Melech Chafnaim of the first Kohen Gadol? He has to do the procedure on his own. The Gemara says in Tema, if you're going to say Chafnaim also so Kli Shoris Lekadesh, the Chafnaim are like a Kli Shoris to me Mekadesh. Hadamara, from this will derive. This will teach us. Chafanu Meis, if the first Kohen Gadol dies, Ein Acher Nichnas B'Chafnav. Somebody else can't go in what he was Chaf. Let's see the comment on this. He says, Ein Intem B'Chafnaim K'Glosh Tamim B'Lo Chafnav Dafka. This specifically, why would be like Lisharis? Because we'd say B'Lo Chafnav means specifically the Chafnaim of this Kohen Gadol. And that's why it's like Lisharis. V'Kpida Torah Chafnav. K'mosh K'pida was the Torah is makbid in his Chafnaim, like there's a makbid in other avodas al Klisharis. K'nim shlu bayis kulam. It says all the bayis are resolved. The first one is, of course, the Chafan and makes enachet nichlas b'Chafnav. Somebody, the first Kohen Gadol does the Chafina, and he dies. The other, nobody can go out, somebody else can, the next Kohen Gadol cannot use his Chafnaim. The Chafnav Kapikra, that's the Klisharis, is that the specific Kohen Gadol's Chafnaim. Right, that he day Kapikra, nobody else can use to do it because of Makban him. Okay, so Chavnim again, Chavnim makes Enachet Nichnas. Tema Chavnaim Asuk Lisharis Kaddish. Tamar Chavnim makes Enachet Nichnas B'Chnavav. Enacher Chavnim no so to Chavav. Somebody else can't do the Chafina and put it into his Chavnaim because you need to have his specific Chafina. And the next Gemara, it says, Osi Midah Chafonim, you can make a Midah to his Chofnaim, but the Korban Eda changes it, right? Because it seems not that way. Ein Osi Midah Chofnaim, and that seems to be the Pashtus. But the Pnei Moshe goes with the gears in front of us. He says, if his Chofnaim are like Klisharis, so what difference does it make if it's a Klisharis Mamish or if it is the Chofnaim? They're both Klisharis, his Chofnaim and Klisharis. The Gilin Shas says it's going on the Bezech. That if his hands are the Klisharis, so then, you know what? Let's see the. Let me just see. Well, we can see Gilin Shas inside. Yeah, I'm not going to see inside. I'll tell you inside. It's not. I think it's not the push up. It says if it has like Lisharis in this guy, then you have to make sure that nothing falls from his hands onto the ground because it's already kadosh. So therefore, the bezach has to be more or less precisely the size of his chafnaim. So there's no excess which falls to the ground. But even though the hands is not Lisharis, so in the hands it hasn't yet become kadosh. So therefore, the bezach can be larger, and we don't care if stuff falls to the ground. Okay, so then the question is whether the bezech has to be the same meter as the chafnaim or not. That depends if the chafnaim are kodesh, in which case you don't want there to be excess falling to the ground, or they're not. Okay, the Ritbaz goes like the Pnei Moshe's approach here. I think since the it doesn't look like the Reb Chaim changed the Girsa, so no, he does. He doesn't tell us he changes it. Those are the yeah, he changed it, but he doesn't say so. It says "Ve'eno semina lechofnav." Okay. Moving the wrong place. No, it's later on. Second. Not sure. No, that's talking later on. So in the wrong place. Here, just say he goes with the Girsa as in the Sefer of Osi Mila Chafnav. So evidently he's learning like the Pnei Moshe. Oh no. Is he? Yeah, it learns like the Pnei Moshe. It doesn't change the Girsa. It learns like the Pnei Moshe. Okay. And we can't go b'shar with all chafnaim because it's the chafnaim and the kohen gadol are the klisharis here, so therefore they have to go by his measure. If you're going to say the chafnaim were not made like not like the klisharis, right? So Adamra chafan acher umeis acher nichas chafnam. Somebody else did it. The first kohen gadol did it. Then he died. This is the second guy going with this chofnaim because it's not specific. Just you don't need the chofnaim the current kohen gadol as long as it got there somehow. After chofnaim, somebody else can do the chofnaim and put it into his chofet. Ve'ein osin a mida lechofnav, and we don't make a mida for a chofnav. So the Korban Eder here changes the Girsa to the Osim Mida Chafnav, right? Which he doesn't, because since you don't need Klisharis, so since you don't need him to do it, it's not in his hands of the Klisharis. So you just use a Mida. You don't need to have it. According to according to the Pnei Moshe, we don't change the gear in the Reb Chaim. We don't change the gear, so. That would mean you don't make a klisharis. I guess theoretically you can make a measure which is not a klishoris. But AOC means you don't make a klishoris because it's just like a Naim not a klishoris. You don't make a separate klishoris. And since it's not specific to the Kohen Gadol's specific hand size, so therefore, you can use any you can use generic size. You don't have to use the specific size of this Kohen Gadol. We're going to go now for the Ribaz. It sounds like the next sugya is a continuation, but the Pashup Shot said the next words Hagol Figolo is a header from the Mishnah, and in fact, no, it's not. The Hagol Figolo is going on. No, this is going a new thing. In fact, in the article there are 2 dots before and after colons. Hagol Figodlo. It's a header. Okay, so it says the Gemara. A few. This is and our mission seems to be going certainly with the assumption that each Kohen Gadol's chofen is different. Is different, and we go according to that Kohen Gadol's chofen. We wouldn't be, although perhaps you could be Mishayel Chofani, but it wasn't the standard practice. Agadol fi Godlo. It was a large Kohen Gadol based on his large hand size. Afilu kiben kimkis imlay ben kimkis so yoda machzekes karba kabin. An astronomical amount of Ktoros. But according to Fiktana, Afilu kiben gamlo, who shows some machzekes el shtei zesim. Because then only out 2 zesim. The Maram Di Unzano says Afilu kiben gamlo. This is considered their sagi norni cocaine. Ben Gamla, camel's big, so Ben Gamla was Loshan Saginori. He wasn't big like camel, he was small. The name says about Or Hashem because of Perush Shem Kohen Gadol. Rabbi Shimon Gamla was on the Kohen Gadol. Ulai Shem Ir Gamla Mukuna came. Perhaps it's called Gamla because he came from the town of Gamla, which is a town in the Golan. That's where we have famous ruins today. And famous wine named after it, I guess. He looked bizarre mouth. We're going down and now ask a new question. Can a Zor bring the stuff around in the Beis HaMikdash? So the Chomeini says, "Lu bizarre halacha is our kosher, right?" So actually, I didn't read it anymore. Hilch bizarre mao chizkam hilch bizarre kosher. He's why? Because says Chomeini halacha is our kosher, but halacha looks kuna behedia. It doesn't say explicitly kuna. The only reason possible is because after Kabbalah b'lashon halacha. What's called Kabbalah in the receiving of the blood in the Torah goes under it's called halacha, but it's really that is actually not the halacha. It's the Kabbalah Sadam. I don't know if Torah brings it. There's no Torah in this because it's there's the article brings it down. I don't see if there's another pasuk. Okay, I don't see it. So the Rabbi Chizkiah says it's kosher. They add my hiluk bizarre puzzle. Rabbi says the hiluk bizarre is puzzle, and the Gemara is going to ask that Masisa Pliga Rabbi Yanai. So it seems the Brisa seems to Rabbi Yanai, which says Kiba Amino v'Nasa B'Smolo Yachzir Yamino. You can kabel the blood in your right hand, and then you put it in your left hand. And one understands that you traverse distance with your holding left hand. Yachzir Yamino, and you put it back. You can put it back in your right hand. Smolo Kazarhu, and whatever time it's in the left hand, it's in like a zar. So you see, halacha b'zar is kosher. So it says, well, no, he didn't move actually when he had his left hand. But there's a small klape pnim. He's not. It doesn't. He gets further away. it was close to the mizbeach, his left hand, but then he puts back his right hand, he goes back further out again. The Shmuel is klape pnim, the right is klape chutz. So whatever distance is traversed in the left hand, he does it over the right hand, and therefore that's okay. But if the actual distance traversed the left hand, be puzzle. The Rebbe is going to give a different answer, but this is already on Lamed Gimel Amrav, so let's leave it for tomorrow.